It's nice to be here because I can enjoy your smile. It's it's very wonderful to have yeah, friends in front of me with smiling to me. It's very wonderful. It's very helpful too for calming my whatever is happening in my heart. So I invite all of us to listen to the sound of the bell, enjoying the sound of the bell, which is inviting us to come back to our true home, our safe island inside of us, and to feel the inside. For me, I feel the joy to be among my friends. So we listen to the sound of the bell. Dear most respected teacher, dear Thai, and dear community, good morning. Today we are the March 17th of the year 2024, and we are in the Assembly of Stars meditation hall of the Dharma Nectar Temple, Lower Hamlet. So welcome to everyone this morning for this sharing. So challenges in life are inevitable. In our life we will face difficulties, obstacles, challenges, and how do we do to face this difficulty? What can we do? And recently I came back from a trip to Vietnam. I mean, a few weeks ago I came back from a trip to Vietnam. And when I came back, something was very strong in my heart. And this will be the topic of my sharing this morning, is spiritual friendship. Spiritual friendship. So that's what we will explore a little bit this morning together. And at the same time that the days after I came back, in mid-February, the we have the great gift here in where we are placed here in Lower Hamlet is to see the migrating birds, the cranes, which they fly twice a year. They fly above us, and it's always for me. It's been and for many of us, it's been quite very moving, very touching to see these birds, their courage, and what is motivating them to migrate in this way. But what's and so since the last few weeks and yesterday again we could hear and see a flock of these birds flying. And often I observe them. Sometimes they fly very close to us, depending. And sometimes what I see is it's not the same one who is guiding the whole. They switch around. And they do that too because they support each other. Because the first one has to put a lot of energy to go forward. And so they change place. And sometimes I observe that sometimes one may step a bit back, and then some others come and help the bird to join the flock of bird again. So I see that it's something. Yeah, it's very beautiful. And so in our life, we need friends. Especially if we want to maintain a spiritual dimension in our life, which is essential for us to be able to go through challenges, obstacles, difficulties, suffering, and we need to maintain this spiritual dimension. And how can we do it? So the spiritual friendship. So our teacher Thai faced many difficult moments, and his greatest masterpiece that we say is the Sangha, the community of practice, and he did that with the power of his aspiration, the power. He had a dream, and so this. We can see it, we are here, sitting here together because of the power of the aspiration of our teacher. And our teacher in 1966, when he went to the States, he went there to call for peace, but in fact he was invited to give a talk, but he knew in his heart he wanted to ask for peace. So and when he was there, because America was in war with Vietnam, then he couldn't go back to his country. Like very quickly, he was cut off. He couldn't go back to Vietnam. He couldn't go back to his community and all the work that he did in Vietnam. And I share often that he felt that to be able for him to survive and to continue, he had to have spiritual friends around him to build his community again. And he always gave the example of a bee who leaves its beehive, then it will dry up. It will not be able to survive. And for Thai was very clear that immediately in his heart he felt he had to have a spiritual friend. So that's what our teacher did. And you can see the strength of the spiritual friendship when we are when we see. And so this the power to be able to continue the practice, to maintain our practice, to solidify our practice, and we need to have people around us. So to be able to continue to, for sure ourselves we need to do it. But when we have friends around us, when you see you come here and we breathe together mindfully, we walk together mindfully, we eat together, we share many things together, we sit together in circle. And so this is a tremendous, there is a tremendous power to help us to walk on the path we want to walk, and to realize our dream. So, and for in the Buddha's teaching, there is the Buddha, we just say, the disciple of the Buddha called Ananda. So one day he shared to the Buddha, and he said, good and encouraging friends on the practice. He was speaking to the Buddha, said it's very important on the path. And he was telling the Buddha, or maybe it's at least half of the path to have good spiritual friends. And the Buddha told him, no, Ananda, having good friends isn't half of the holy life. Having good friends is the whole of the holy life. That means if we have good friends, and what does it mean to have good friends? And I will share about that a bit later. What does that mean? So throughout his teaching career, the Buddha spoke again and again about the pivotal, is it? Pivotal, yes, they like that. Pivotal importance of what we call spiritual friends. In Sanskrit, it's called Kalyana Mitra. Kalyana Mitra. It's in order to succeed in one's practice. So we need to have friends. And the Kalyana Mitra, that means the meaning of the word, that means good, true, virtuous, upright, or beneficial. Kalyana and Mitra, Kalyana, and then the word Mitra, it means is a root word for Maitri, which means kindness. So kindness, to have kind friends around us. So say the translation to say good friend, spiritual guide. So a Kalyana Mitra, it's a spiritual teacher, a companion, or a mentor. But we will open up a bit what it can be. So it's someone who helps us to realize our deeper aspiration. So we have an aspiration in life, and how can I realize it? One who will uplift our path, who will uplift us. So maybe if you maybe we will listen to a sound of the bell, and maybe you can bring to mind someone who, help you to uplift your life. And I'm sure you have at least one person. If you so we listen to a sound of the bell. So to uplift your path to a higher level of ethical and spiritual well-being. So this morning the chant with my monastic brother and sister offered is in French. It's about happiness. So it was listed all kind of different things we have in our life to be happy. So who can I see in my life? Someone who uplifts me in a moment of challenges, moment a bit difficult. So myself is my own experience. I've been living in communities. I live in two communities, and so I lived 21 years in one community and 21 years in the Plum Village community. So it's about 42 years of experience living in community, which very wonderful, very challenging too. And I learned a lot during this year of the power of living in community, having spiritual friends, and having friends around me to help me to continue with my aspiration. And when I went to Vietnam, so we went with a big group of monastic brothers and sisters and friends to Vietnam, because it was the second anniversary commemoration of our teacher. Our teacher, we say in the historical dimension, he passed away. It was marking the second anniversary of his death, his physical death. But in fact, he transformed himself. And so and it's a very important time for spiritual teachers, the second year. So a lot of our brothers and monastic brothers and sisters and friends flew from everywhere in the world to come back to Vietnam at this time. And for me, it was a very powerful moment to meet again with a lot of my brothers and sisters that I didn't see for many, many years. And the first thing when we arrived in Hue, in central Vietnam, where the root temple is, and then I saw two of my brothers. It was the first thing we arrived to the house, come out of the taxi, and I saw two of my brothers there. And it was a great joy to see each other. And it really touched and watered the seeds of feeling that friendship in my heart, the warmth in my heart. And then as going inside the monastery, and to meet a lot of my sisters and brothers, and to feel the love between us, feeling really a sense of belonging. And it was very powerful for me to really feel that. So, and I saw that they water the seeds in me, the seeds of, as I say, of belonging, but the seed, we have this common aspiration, and together we have the courage to continue the transmission of our teacher, and to water this seed of deep aspiration. So, and I this year in Vietnam was the third time I went to Vietnam. The first time Thai was in exile for 39 years. So he came back for the first time to Vietnam in 2005. And so I was with accompanying Thai and a lot of us who were there. And then I went back. And so when we were there with Thai, was a challenging trip. We went for 3 months, a wonderful trip. And so, one gift that I received, and many of you received it, is walking meditation, the practice of walking meditation. And I see some smile because a lot of people here know that it's one of my something really which helped me a lot on my path and my journey of practice, walking meditation. So we walk with Thai a lot in Vietnam in 2005 with a community. And then when I went back, so I followed Thai steps, and here and I followed Thai steps. And then I went back in 2020, just before the pandemic, and to Thai was in already in a wheelchair, and so and I walk behind Thai, pushing Thai's wheelchair, and as I pushed Thai's wheelchair, I could really feel that my feet were walking for Thai, but Thai was walking in my feet, and I was pushing Thai. And then when back this year, at the beginning of the year, then we, as a community, as a really the river of the community, really we Thai walk in each one of us, and we walk. Uh, Around, especially around a little half moon pond, which is at the entrance of the root temple in Vietnam. Mm. So for me was a very moving moment and very powerful moment to feel Thais, our teacher, continuation as we walk together as a sangha. We felt that. So we say that Thai, our teacher, uh, um, in the historical dimension, we say Thai is not there anymore. But in fact, we could really feel, and we can really feel Thai's, our teacher's presence in us. So how do we continue Thai? How do we continue this dream? How do we continue this deep aspiration? And our teacher left us a legacy. He left us the community. He left us many practices, very concrete practices for us to be able to continue on our path. And Thai, our teacher, faced many difficulties, and I encourage you to read his biography, and you will find it, and it really show all this very deep aspiration from our teacher. And for me, when I read a biography of great teacher, great master, it's a great inspiration on my path. And the Buddha has also had difficulties and suffering. In the past, our teacher, he had to face by a lot of what he wrote himself. He said, in the past, himself, Thai, didn't know the practice, and so allowed himself to be overwhelmed by suffering and jealousy. Trickery and discrimination brought him so much resentment, disappointment, and even despair. And so this suffering, to repeat, okay. So Thai wrote, he wrote and he shared himself that Thai didn't know the practice, and so it allowed himself to be overwhelmed by suffering and jealousy, trickery and discrimination, and it brought him so much resentment, disappointment, and even despair. So this suffering was that motivated Thai to look for suitable Dharma doors to practice. So this, the suffering, the difficulty, that's what motivates us to, each one of us. I'm sure you went through difficulty and suffering, and this is motivating us to look for different paths, different way. So that's what motivated Thai to look for suitable Dharma doors to practice. And the merit of his ancestors helped him to find them. And today, which is goes to with the spirit of this Dharma talk, of this sharing, it's because it's a celebration too of the continuation, the death of Thai's our teacher. It's his name. His first name is Tung and Tung Quinn. Tung Quy. It's our teacher's teacher, which when we go to Vietnam to the our root temple, that's where the Thai was given birth in his spiritual journey. His teacher giving birth because he became a monk at the age of 16 years old, and so through our teacher, we can see his own teacher. So for lunch today, we will have a special little altar with offering of food, and so some of his life will be probably shared by some of my brothers or sisters. So our Thai left us many different practice door. He opened many doors for us to practice. And there is what we call four Dharma seals of Plum Village. I will write them on the board. So I have arrived, I am home. Go as a river, enter being, ripening. What does that mean? I have arrived, I am home. So if some of you, I think quite a bit of you were here last Thursday, and our sister who gave the talk, she spoke about the inner island. So is how can I arrive in the present moment? How can I arrive in my body? And for our friend who arrived a couple of days ago, probably you already experience with your breathing, connecting with your breath, connecting with your body, coming back to the present moment, and to really arrive in our body. Often we are up in our head, and our head takes us to the future or the past or anxiety in the present moment. So it's how to be able to, I'm here. And so we have here we use the sound of the bell to stop, to come back, to quiet our body, to quiet our mind, to really be home. Mm. So we, and together, as when we are surrounded by friends, when we have a community around us, it's much easier to do it. Because here we come, for example, we hear the sound of the bell and we feel everyone stops. So it's easier for us to stop, to slow down, and we benefit from the energy of the community. And I wanted to read a small poem from, there is a book, a woman in the many of in the Buddhist text, women are not too much mentioned. And, there is a very beautiful book which called The First Free Woman. I think I'm losing the poems of the early Buddhist nuns. And it's written by Mati Wengast. That's mean now more and more we're finding a text poem written by the nuns. It was in the Buddha's community, women were present, nuns. And so this is a poem written by one of them. It's called Mita Friend. So it's the topic of today, friendship. So full of trust, you left home and soon learned to walk the path, making yourself a friend to everyone. So this little machine is my friend. Everyone a friend. Saying when the whole world is your friend, for me, fear will find no place to call home. Maybe I will have to do that, I don't know. And when you make the mind your friend, you know what trust really means. Listen, I have followed this path of friendship to its end. Yeah. And I can say with absolute certainty, it will lead you home. So is friendship, okay, we try, with yourself, being with your mind. And so together we generate the energy of mindfulness, and we benefit from the energy of mindfulness from the people around us too, from the friends around us. Because sometimes we feel that, I don't have, we go through a difficult moment, and then the energy of mindfulness around us, or our friend around us, will help us. And then it will help us to cultivate the energy of concentration in us, and then to have insight and to understand what is happening in us and around us. So go as a river. So we have the river of the community and the river of life. And I like poetry, so I will read another poem. It's a poem by Persian, a Sufi master, Khalil Gibran. And the poem is called The River. So, because here we speak very often, we say, and it's one of the dharmasil of what our teacher is telling us, is go as a river. So we are all a drop of water, and then we join the river of the community, or the river of life, And we say in ourself, we have our body is many different river in our physical body. We have the river of our feelings, many feelings which are river, and our perceptions, our mental formations are rivers. Our consciousness, many different rivers which flow through our body, which is changing constantly, transforming constantly. So a river is never the same. And so ourselves, we are never the same. And so when we come together, we try to really, we join together, which give us tremendous power. So if we want the river a river is what gives life all around. So it's how to keep our river so we can drink into it and not to be too polluted. Anyway, so I read the poem. It is said that before entering the sea, a river trembles with fear. She looks back at the path she has traveled from the peaks of the mountain. The long, winding road crossing forests and villages. And in front of her, she sees an ocean so vast that to enter there seems nothing more than to disappear forever. But there is no other way. The river cannot go back. Nobody can go back. To go back is impossible in existence. The river needs to take the risk of entering the ocean because only then will fear disappear. Because that's where the river will know it's not about disappearing into the ocean, but of becoming the ocean. So, and the oceans represent wisdom, knowledge, but not intellectual knowledge. It's more the inner knowledge, what's in our heart. And how do I look at life? It's what is my attitude in front of life. So how do I contribute to the river of the community? What is my contribution? Do I bring? What do I bring? Which seeds do I water? What is my contribution? And sometimes when we live in community, when we are with friends or even the society, then we may have the tendency to blame and to see, but what do we contribute ourselves? So is it what is my contribution? Where is my responsibility? Which seeds do I water in myself? Which seeds do I water in others? And am I a good friend to myself? Am I a good friend to others? Am I surrounded with friends who are helping me with my dream and aspiration? So go as a river. So my contribution to the river. And the other Dharma seal is enter being. And our teacher left us this rote and offered us this practice of the 14 mindfulness trainings. And then I would like to encourage you to bring them to your into your life, into your daily contemplation, your daily practice. Because these 14 mindfulness trainings are trainings, and they tell us everything. They are very good friends. And I would just read the introduction of the training. And I would just say what the 14 mindfulness trainings are for the one who don't know. It's a path, but everything is written. I would just say the title, and you will see it. Just the title of each training already say everything. And they are very relevant to everything which is happening in the society, in the world today. So the first one is openness. Openness. Often our mind is very narrow and not really open. So how to practice to open our mind, and how to help each other when you live, when you have spiritual friends, they will help you to open your mind because they will touch your button and then to be able to understand yourself more, then you look more deeply. And it open your mind. And when you open your mind, and you can see more of what life truly is. So openness, non-attachment to views. Our friends around us will help us not to be attached to views. If we are attached to views, we suffer a lot. Non-attachment to views. Freedom of thought. Freedom of thought. Do we give others the freedom to think the way they want, or do we want them to think like we want them to think? Our children, our friends, people around us. So freedom of thought. And so in all this training, there is very concrete practices to do. Awareness of suffering. Not to, oh, this is your problem, you suffer, this is your problem. No, we need to be aware of our own suffering and the suffering around us. Compassionate, healthy living. So to live a healthy life and with compassion. Taking care of anger. How do I take care of anger? How my friend helps me to recognize anger in me, and what do I do to transform anger, to take care of it, but to take care too when people around me have anger. What do I do to help them to go through this emotion? Then the 7 is dwelling happily in the present moment. Dwelling happily in the present moment. Then number 8, true community and communication. And truthful and loving speech. Protecting and nourishing the Sangha, nourishing the community. Right livelihood, reverence for life, generosity, and true love. So everything is like our teacher left us everything. We just need to put it into practice. We just need to water these seeds in us, these seeds of generosity, this seed of protection, protecting life, reverence for life, to really water these seeds. So I read the introduction, which go with go with the word interbeing, because everything depends on everything else to manifest. So it's like we depend on everything. We are not separate. We think we are separate entities, but in fact everything is interconnected, interrelated. So here, the 14 mindfulness trainings are the very essence of the order of interbeing. So you will see you have friends in our community, they wear the brown jacket, so they are part of the core community of Plum Village. They are not monastic members, but they are engaged members, So they are continuing, because the monastic, we're more in our monastery, and then the member of the order interbeing, they are the hands and the arms going in the society. And so in the society nowadays, we really need a lot of people who can really go engage even more in society, even more, and helping to spread the, the teaching everywhere, and to help. So they are the torch lighting our path, the boat carrying us, the teacher guiding us. They allow us to touch the nature of interbeing in everything that is, and to see that our happiness is not separate from the happiness of others. So interbeing is not a theory. It is a reality that can be directly experienced by each of us at any moment in our daily life. So even simply just by eating, for example, if you just take a moment and contemplate your food, then you can see how the food in our plate depends on so many different conditions. Just a simple example. The 14 mindfulness trainings help us cultivate concentration and insight, which free us from fear and the illusion of a separate self. So this is one of the Dharma door that Thai left us. In this 14 mindfulness training, there's many Dharma doors that we can practice with. So how can we cultivate a spirit of friendship? So the Buddha is offering us the different traits, is it like the traits of what is a spiritual friend? What is a good friend? How can I be a good friend? So I will just write it down, because walking the path alone can be very difficult, and we may have enter into confusion. So that's why and our teacher throughout his life, he always encourages us, really share about it, to have friends on our path, build community, come together with people who have the same aspiration than us. So maybe we don't live in like us here in a community, but we can find friends and around us who have the same aspiration to go into a beautiful direction. And you can see when you come, just within a few days, you see a very deep friendship are built very easily, and nothing special. It's just to have an environment where we trust each other. We just sit together, just be ourselves, and not to have kind of pretend to be something else than we are, just to really come back being a true human being. So here is what the Buddha is saying. What's a friend? and what we can cultivate in ourselves to be a good spiritual friend. So the first one is a helpful friend. So you can find it if you're interested to read some of the sutra, you find this particular teaching in Sigolavada Sutra, dans the Digha Nikaya, we write here. So it's a teaching that the Buddha gave to a young lay friend, a young layman. So it's a Digha Nikaya 31. So the helpful friend. So the helpful friend will protect you if you are careless or unmindful. Then the friend, your friend, will help you. It will protect you. It will help you. And if you, what he said in the text, he will look after your property when you are forgetful. So maybe you left something, and then they will protect your property. And then your helpful friend is a refuge for you when you are frightened. I see some of you are laughing when I say looked after your property when you are forgetful. Is there something? Anyway, because sometimes we may forget, we put something on the stove and then we forget. And your friend is there and maybe they see or they are, and then they will turn off the fire. It's an image for different things. So, and it's a refuge when you're frightened. If you have fear, then you can go and see your friend will be next to you, and you can share your fear with your friend. And then the second quality is the friend who shares one's happiness and suffering. Then a good spiritual friend will share when you're happy, the person will be there. When you suffer, the person will be there. Not, only when you don't suffer, when you're happy, I come with you, but when you suffer, you can stay in your corner. No, your helpful friend always will be there for you. The friend who shares. And so they will not abandon you when you're in trouble. And so these are qualities that we want to develop, and that we can recognize people around us who have this quality and will help us to go on our journey. And then, so because we know that the happiness of other is our own happiness, the suffering of another person is our own suffering. So the suffering in the world today is our suffering, and the happiness of the world will be our own happiness. And this will go into the ripening, because what we are, the seeds that we are planting today, if we plant seed of peace when we're walking together, for example, or eating peacefully together, these seeds that we are watering, it will ripen and bring more peace. And we can see a lot of seeds of violence and conflicts which were water for many, many generations, and then they ripen, and we see what's come in our society today. So it's like really our today we can say, okay, I want to water the seeds of peace, of compassion, to go this spiritual dimension in our life, to have the courage to do that, and we can do that together. Difficult to do alone, very difficult. So that's what we try. Then the third quality, the friend. So the friend who points out what is good. What is good. Okay. So that will be the friend who will help you, and the friend will see that you're going to a direction which may be harmful for you or for others. Then gently this friend will point to you and bring you back. And it will discourage you, and it will enjoins you in doing good things. So together you will see, oh, okay, now maybe this way, maybe it's going to bring some harm or suffering. Maybe together, no, maybe it's better if we go this direction. So, and it will point the path of love and compassion. So our teacher and all, in the example I told you, you see, if we ask for the protection of our ancestral teacher, our spiritual teacher from the past. And when I was in Vietnam, that's what I really felt more, even more so this year than in 2005. I really felt this, the power of our ancestral teacher, the spiritual teacher, and this continuation, the ripening of many generations of spiritual teacher, and which transmitted their courage, transmitted their deep aspiration, and the courage and the aspiration of our own teacher of Thai, and to see this continuation. And from 2005 to 2024, what you could really see the ripening of our community, the strength of our community, and what the strength of the transmission of our teacher. So, and then the fourth. So the sympathetic friend, so the beloved friend, who does not rejoice in your misfortune. Someone who doesn't rejoice, oh, you're suffering, great. This makes me happier because you suffer. It doesn't rejoice in that. And it doesn't speak poorly of you. It doesn't speak poorly of you. That will not speak to people bad things about you. And so this friend will embody trust and empathy. That if you are there or not. And this is something sometimes we can see in community or with just friends like that. Sometimes we speak poorly about others. And unskillfully we try to maybe to relieve ourselves of our anger. You see, maybe we feel better, or I'm angry towards someone, so we're going to speak poorly about the person. And maybe our jealousy, resentment, and we don't take the time to really listen deeply to the other, to try to understand. You see, compassion is the true love is born from understanding. And often we don't take the time, we're busy, and we don't really listen what happened to the other, why the person is acting this way, what happened. And so this habit of speaking poorly about others is really one of the most pervasive source of corrosion. Corrosion. Maybe I write the word because I know my French accent is. Sometimes I say something and sometimes it's heard differently. Corrosion. You say like that? Corrosion. Yeah. So is the most pervasive source of corrosion in a spiritual community. It's a reality, and I think it's something we need to face and have the courage to look at. Maybe I want to be a sympathetic friend, and so that's a quality I want to have in me. And when we are part of a group and we speak poorly about each other, of another person, and maybe we want to have the courage to say, let's change our way of speaking. So of these four types of good friends, which here, so which one do you feel most attracted of, or attracted to befriending? So you can see maybe the helpful friend, or the one who shares your happiness and suffering, or the friend who points out what is good, and the sympathetic friend. So which one you are more drawn to, and then which of these friends, type of friend, do you aspire to embody yourself? So yourself, which quality you would like to embody, and then you choose, and then you cultivate this seed in you. You water this in you. So. And I don't want to keep you. I want to be a good friend to you and not to keep you too long. we close slowly the talk. And so this, whether you are Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, Native American, we are likely to have a hunger, not anger, hunger for companionship and friendship that in our life, it's something we want. So in the Buddhist and the Buddhist tradition, we call it Kalyana Mitra, but there is many, in all tradition, you have this aspiration for spiritual friendship, and you can see all the great beings. They all came with a friend around them and started forming community. You can see it. You see Jesus in every tradition. So, and it is possible for two deeply spiritual people of different faiths to come together in a spiritual friendship that doesn't negate either religion, but instead feeds and fosters a friend's individual beliefs. So that means we can come, even if we are like our teacher came this aspiration and what he called and the beloved community is with his meeting with Dr. Martin Luther King. So it's like really this meeting of someone from a different faith, but really water our teacher seeds of really building more and more the community. And it's like recently we had two sisters who went to a big conference in Chicago of there is a particular title, all the religions, they come together, as it's already since for a number of years. And she was sharing that it was like spiritual friends without borders. Like instead of the Doctor Without Borders, but it's spiritual friends without borders. I found this very beautiful. And together we can make a difference in the world. So nowadays, if all the tradition, all the religion come together, we will make a big difference in the world, and we need that. We need that. So, and then it's something that maybe I invite you to do, and is to look back at an earlier time in your life and in your own life, and realize what got you to go through a rough spot. Maybe it was an extraordinary friendship that seemed ordinary at this time. So if you look, maybe you met someone and it seems kind of ordinary, but in fact, this person or this group changed your life. Maybe gave you, I know in my personal experience, when I look back, I can see. So maybe it was for a few years, few months, but some meeting maybe were very brief, but it changed my direction of it helped what was put me in the more in the direction I wanted to go. So look back and see why you're here today, for example. So, and then Thai, our teacher, met Thomas Merton, the famous Trappist monk that maybe some of you know, but very beautiful writings, if you want to read. And what he shared after his meeting with Thai, they met together, and he wrote, so he said the name of our teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh is more my brother than many who are nearer to me in race and nationality, because he and I see things in exactly the same way. I repeat, Thich Nhat Hanh is more my brother than many who are nearer to me in race and nationality, because he and I see things in exactly the same way. So maybe we meet someone completely different culture, nationality, and then something we see the same way. We don't need to be same. Yeah. So and I write and I read. Rather than present a stumbling block, their different beliefs became building blocks. They took elements of each other's spiritual traditions and used them to strengthen their own faith practices. So that's speaking of Thomas Merton and Thai. So in fact it helped. So we can help each other even if we are from different faith, different tradition, different culture, but we can help each other. And so I will close with a poem from John O'Donoghue, which is an Irish poet, and it's called A Friendship Blessing. So So before I read the poem, I just want to repeat the 4 Dharma seals that we can keep. They are very brief, so you can memorize them and see in your life, during your daily life. Maybe if we are carried away, okay, come back, arrived, home. And we have this simple song that in Plum Village we like to sing. I have arrived, I am home, in the here, in the now. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. And then the second one, go as a river. So the river of life. To continue together, we can go at the river. The river can meet many obstacles and sometimes waterfall and sometimes dries up a bit. But then how to go through the river of life. Enter being. Okay, we depend on so many things. We depend on each other. And then ripening. So which seeds do I want to water? And maybe we will not see the trees or the flower right away, but we can see it. We can see if we look in our life today, we can recognize which seed did I planted many years ago, or which was planted by my ancestors. And maybe some of the seeds, maybe we don't want to water them too much anymore. Maybe we want to water different type of seeds. Compassion, love, understanding, mindfulness, joy. So this is a friendship blessing by John O'Donoghue. May you be blessed with good friends and learn to be a good friend to yourself. Journeying to that place in your soul where there is love, warmth, and feeling. May this change you. May it transfigure that which is negative, distant, or cold within your heart. May you be brought into real passion, kindness, and belonging. May you treasure your friends. May you be good to them. Be there for them. And receive all the challenges, truth, and light you need. May you never be isolated, but know the embrace of your Anamkara, true friend. Maybe I will read it again. I was reading slowly, so the interpreter, the translator, she could, because I gave the the poem in French, but then I prepared 2 copies, but then after I realized that my sister needed the one in English, because she translated in Vietnamese. So I read again the poem. May you be blessed with good friends, and learn to be a good friend to yourself. Journeying to that place in your soul where there is love, warmth, and feeling. May this change you. May it transfigure that which is negative, distant, or cold within your heart. May you be brought into real passion, kindness, and belonging. May you treasure your friends. May you be good to them, be there for them, and receive all the challenges, truth, and light you need. May you never be isolated, but know the embrace of your Anamkara, true friend. Thank you, dear friend, for your listening. And, I wish you a very good day. And we will listen to 3 sounds of the bell.